everybody, and welcome to another Coffee with Conrad. As we go into, I think now, what is this, Conrad? Week 12?
I
Week
don't know. We
11?
should definitely have like a counter somehow.
Yeah, I know. Well, I wish it was a countdown, um, so we could know when things would go back to normal. But it's been good so far. Glad that we're able to do these sessions. Today, we're going to be talking about the 100% remote CEO, which Conrad, you know a little bit about. You've been at the helm through all of this, actually a little bit beforehand. Um, so, how you doing this morning?
Good. Yeah, thinking about the hey, maybe it should be a countdown. Problem is, people feel really bad because they'd have to reset that thing every time. It's like, oh, 15, 14, 30, 30, 29, 20.
Oh, sorry, Christmas is in January now.
I know. My brother, he works for UPS, and I ask him how's it going. He says, it's Christmas in May,
Yeah,
because everybody just ordering things like crazy.
yeah. My
Which
mother-in-law is a manager at the post office, and same thing.
Yeah, actually, my brother complained for a little bit. First off, I was like, well, you're welcome for having a job. Not everybody has that. But the other part is, he's like, well, people are ordering all kinds of exercise stuff and whatever. And these aren't
Oh,
essential
wait.
items. I was like, look, I'm at home every day. Those are essentials because I'm going crazy without things. And so bought a dartboard, playing with my kids, the most simple thing, and they love it. And my son, who plays a lot of baseball, is thriving for something competitive and that requires
Oh, yeah.
throwing. So darts seems to have just hit the mark, no pun
Well,
intended. Anyway,
after
uh,
many stories about your point how hard he can throw a baseball, I'm surprised he hasn't thrown a dart through the board yet.
um, yeah, he's come close. He's come close. We're currently 2-1. I've had some magical landings. But no, this topic is good, because there's a lot of things, and hopefully there's some new areas that I can touch on. Some that actually were brought up by other people who just noticed I did certain things, and so I guess I was fortunate, and they called it out. And others that were shared. There's so much going on out there today around how to work effectively remotely, how to do this remotely, and as a CEO, this really isn't a session where I'm going to tell you how to you know update your books and how to look at your finances and what's the right way to package something. That might be a fun topic in the future if you guys are interested. But being remote, not just a remote CEO, but a CEO where because there's some I know a few companies out there where the CEO is always remote, which is kind of bizarre sometimes to me. But we're normally in the office with all of my people, and even though all of our customers are remote, my people, my staff are normally around. When we're working together. But now with everything that's happening, obviously things are a little bit different. And the one thing I would say, although who was the gentleman that put part of this list together? I shaved it down.
Oh, it was an article that John shared with us, and it was Jeremy Ballou, and it was up on Medium, and it
Yeah.
was an article titled "Your Employees Are Not Okay Right Now," and I really thought like the empathy of that was great.
No, I think it's great. So let's make sure when we put this on YouTube, we put a link there because it's valuable stuff. But yeah, so I think one thing for me that was really difficult, because I think as we're going through this time, and even now, you tend to put a lot on your shoulders, especially if you have a family that you're taking care of as well. I'll talk about my kids, but one thing that is made a difference for me, and it's funny, like I used to hear these people say this, and like I don't know why they say this. It sounds ridiculous. But in self-care, I mean, literally today I just finished the 30-day yoga challenge. Didn't skip one day. Did it every single day. It's only like 20 minutes long. But it has made a world of difference for me. It gave me something to look forward each day. It gave me a goal to go after that was more about myself. I felt like I was taking time for myself to go do it, and it has made a profound difference for me. Just having that one little bit of time on the mat to go through it, and just off the YouTube channel, and that goes a long way, because what a lot of people say is, if you can't take care of yourself, how can you take care of other people? And that's so true. And so that a level of clarity has been good for me, as well as I put now on my I used to just write on my schedule during the middle of the day, a half hour or an hour during the middle sometime. Doesn't always work. A lot of times I have to shift it, but I try to. I put 30 minutes or an hour on my calendar each day in the middle of the day where I used to just write block. Now I write self-care. And I tell all my employees to do the same thing, that, this is difficult. Working from home is not the same, and you just don't get a breaks. And sometimes you need that time away, and sometimes you need that time away from your kids or your spouse. That's a good time to just walk walk out, and go for whatever you need to go do. Practice some self-care, and I express that to my employees, that these are things that I need to do, and I'm struggling with this too, and here's things that I do, and it is okay for you all to take the same time during the day. I encourage you to do it. You see it on my calendar. So that's a place where, a lot of times, there's the view of like, well, you're the CEO and you have to portray, strength and leadership. And I mean, I used to be in the Marine Corps. I don't need to do the whole strength things, but people on leadership, and sometimes good leadership is being open and honest with them and humbling and telling them that, you're also, struggling with things, and here's what we're going through. And I've, somebody who works for me was the one who kind of challenged me on so Maggie, she was the one who challenged me on doing yoga, and we did it same sessions every day. Sometimes she wanted to skip, sometimes I wanted to skip, and that helped out and reach out to other people. So that's one thing. And so, but being able to express that to other people and knowing that they're going through this. So the other area that we started a while back is in a employee assistance program. And, and one of the key reasons why we did that is because it has mental health services, and people can get access sometimes to it faster there than our normal provider. Just another service. I'd encourage you, if you're in a business or whatever, to research that. The cost is so nominal, and it's so valuable right now. And I encourage people to go do that. If they need help, they can reach out. And that level of, I think, empathy or sensitivity of what's going on, I think really helps people feel attached and feel like it's okay, because we're all not okay, but we're working through it together. And I think the other part is, you know, I'm terrible at telling jokes, but I'm normally pretty good at telling stories. And so I try to add in humor wherever I can, and lighten the load, especially if there's a team meeting or whatever it's going on. I try not to take myself or what's going on too seriously. Now there's business time when we have to talk like, hey, what are we doing here for the customer? Are we on track with this? Yeah, we are. Okay, cool. And then, you know, then you just open it up to try and enjoy, because it is a stressful time. And hopefully these things will help out, as you look with the interaction you have with your employees. And they tell me good things, but I think they're doing good. We actually use something called Office Vibe. We've talked about it before, and I think a lot of these pieces have come together for us and actually maintained our level of score with the employees. And we're constantly shifting and trying new things. We've had other coffee with Conrads to talk about the other fun things we've done remotely
Yeah, and you
to
talk
do
about
it.
that empathy real quick, and I don't want to shine a highlight on her by name, but we had an employee who used that almost exact same phrase. Everything isn't all right, and she suffers from anxiety in normal times, and she brought this up to everybody in an all-company meeting, and it really kind of opened the floodgates for everybody to be a little bit more honest about. I mean, because we can stay at home, we can stay behind the shield of our screens. Everybody's a tough guy on the internet, and we don't open up and share these personal things. So we don't know when another coworker is struggling. And it was so valuable for her to do that. And then the next week, Conrad, you came out and talked about, well, this is what I'm doing for mental health care for myself. And I think that it really made a positive change, that everybody was just, no, it is okay if I'm uneasy about things, if I do need that help. And that's been really one of the transformative things I've seen during this process.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I think, again, being, we always say be honest. Like, well, why would I lie? But sometimes that honesty is, um, you know, expressing that you're maybe not so good, and that you're going through these other areas. And sometimes it's because you're reaching out. Other times it's because, you are getting help. And I have my own sessions with therapists or whatever too. And me just expressing that to the business. Actually, I had other people say, well, wait, man, if he's doing that, then maybe it is okay I do that. So I have no problem sharing, because, this is how you get better. And I think good employees and happy employees, and helping them as much as we can, is important, because they're the people who really help you do your business. So they're number one. That's why they're on top here. For the business, this first one, you might, it sounds weird, like be in more meetings. This was kind of a surprising one too, in saying being in more meetings, but it, a lot of times as a CEO, I'm traveling or driving out to go see customers. In this whole thing, one of the things I got is I got all that time back. I don't commute. I'm not flying to go see a customer. I'm not at a customer, but I still talk to a lot of customers. And so one of the things I try to go do is I try to participate in more customer project conversations. Not all of them, but I try and jump in here and there. And I think customers find it valuable when the CEO is able to jump in. Sometimes we're helping, sometimes we're just there letting them know that we're there and we care, whether that leads to something or not. But I think it's valuable to customers. I think it's valuable to employees to know that you're interested and you want to jump in, but you're not there because there's a problem or there's something bad. You're like, hey, I'm just interested. Everything's good. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for your business, guys. You guys are doing a great job, and you get to go. And so with that time, I think that's valuable, especially now that sometimes it's a struggle with a lot of businesses. So if you're out there and you have some of those customers, it's good to show your appreciation, just kind of show your face and your voice and help out. So that's why I said, well, be in more meetings, but different types of meetings. So those are good ones to go on. And the other part of this is really kind of staying ahead of the market. So now that things are changing and it's remote, we have this debate. Is this going to completely swing the world to whole remote? Is it going to swing all the way back? I kind of think it's going to be somewhere in this large middle area. But that being the case, that shift in the market, not just for this year, but its impact over the next 2 years. Where are you going to be? Where's your competition going to be? Where's your customers going to be? And what opportunities does that allow you to look at? And so this is normally a good time as well to think of, well, what are either the new products initiatives that we need to go do? Could be cost cutting, could be rearranging the staff, it could be new products and services, new partnerships, minimizing, and some of that you might be forced to do because some businesses are going out of business. Some technology providers are divesting from certain things. So this is something that you can really take advantage of if you really look at it as taking advantage, or you're going to lose that opportunity and it can really hurt you down the road. So I think this is good, but you really have to continuously communicate this, both with your customers as well as your staff and the employees, because I think the other thing that makes them a bit uneasy right now is they don't see me in the hallways writing on a whiteboard talking to people, right? So and that's one of the things I've noticed too, is that while we have these meetings in groups and we have these meetings in teams, there is a lot that's lost in hallway conversation. There's a lot lost in just overhearing things, which is what I normally like to say, like, oh, what are you working on? What's that? So we try and talk about doing everything in the open, but you just can't do every single thing as much as you try. So that also means that they are not hearing your hallway conversation. They're not hearing you whiteboard something out and like, hey, what was that thing Conrad was talking about, or that conversation here. So they can't hear you. So which at first I didn't really realize that was how they were getting other information. So I had to okay, I got to make sure I communicate this. I got to make sure I show it, keep them excited on what's moving forward, so that they're not nervous about that. And again, that rolls back to that, that understanding their sensitivity, right? If there's a change in staff, if there's a change in direction, oh, this is my job. And so we have to constantly communicate over and over and over again, let them know what's coming, keep them excited and engaged, and that makes a big difference. So, I think for us, we've done a lot with our tools and our and our processes to communicate, write stuff down, do things in teams. But that other kind of human element is different and key, and something we have to work on. And just like that other session where we said, what was it? Remote work is not temporary culture or something like this. This will end up being ingrained with the company. And I'll tell you, you have to look at a positive spin on things. And if through COVID that this brought us more together emotionally and honestly within the company, then we'll take that as a positive, and then also as a business to take that as a positive, to stay focused on what we're doing, look at the key areas of the market and opportunities that we can have, and communicate that both with our customers as well as our our employees. So we're trying to just take advantage of the most of it we can remotely. Everything else, whether we, how we manage we use something called the Entrepreneur Operating System, EOS. We have a coach that we work with, Scott Rusnick, and he guides us through this process, and that was actually kind of a key thing for us. We'll talk about it later on. We might bring him on as a little guest speaker or something. That made a big difference on how we work together as a leadership team, the kind of trust that we build and how we communicate it. And we have this process that we go through to do everything, which has been fantastic. And we do everything in team. So when we made this change, we just kept using the right tools. We keep, and we still meet in the same rhythm. And I actually think we do even better now, but that's because we've come stronger as a team. We know the tools, the process has been great. So it's been a great journey throughout. Anyhow, I think I'm veering off the topic here, but these are the things that I normally look at as a CEO. I got to care about my people in a bigger way, which includes starting with myself, and thinking how they're going through things and constantly reach out, which means depending on the size of your company, this may take longer. Call everybody in your staff individually, right? Everybody in your, if you can, or at least as many as you can, and just check in with them. I think it's important that they have that kind of access and that you care. I mean, again, you have all this time that you're not traveling, flying, commuting. Use it effectively as much as you can. Anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to go through.
Great. Thank you, Conrad. Just a reminder, you can ask questions in the questions tab. This is recorded. I have enabled the ability to come off mute. If you'd like, just know that you will be recorded and this will wind up on YouTube. We'll make you famous. But if you have any questions about the session, feel free to ask them. And we wait for those to come in. Conrad, you mentioned in the communicate section that people don't get to see you in the hallway. And an interesting thing came up for me yesterday, being in sales and marketing. I'm purposely divorced from the product or project management teams and delivery so that we don't have that crossed wires. And I didn't know what the product or project manager load was until yesterday. And wow, they've got that many projects they're working on right now. And in the office, I would walk by one of our PM's offices and they had their board that had all of their projects. And I just always knew that. And when you talk about that kind of hallway moment, and if you've watched any of our tech talks about operating in teams, we use the term a lot, working out in the open. And it's so that you can create those hallway moments within teams when you're doing remote work. And something that's been coming to mind recently, what was her name? Marissa Mayer, who was the CEO of Yahoo for a couple of years before they got acquired by, I think it was Verizon, banned working from home back in like 2012, 2013, because she felt that all the great things in business were occurring in the hallways and in the break rooms, and said that nobody could work from home anymore. It was not very well received. And I'm kind of wondering what her thoughts are right now about working from home now that it's the true new normal. And as we talked about last week too, the tools have really advanced since then.
Yeah. Well, when many years ago at Agile IT, most people had like little desktops, and very few people had desktops. And several years, about 3 years ago, I made the decision that I wanted everybody to have a laptop. Everybody had a Surface device, and one of the reasons why I did that is because I hated when people would, we'd come to a meeting and face-to-face meeting, and we say, so and so, like, what's happening there? It's like, oh, I don't know. I'd have to go to my computer and check it out. Like, oh, that drives me crazy, right? Like, let's have it all here. But I also wanted people to meet wherever they wanted, outside, inside, a coffee shop. And I didn't want it to make it, well, those people have laptops and these other people can't have laptops. Like, I don't care. Like, they all have laptops. And if you have a desktop because you're a developer, guess what? You also have a laptop. And so
Mm-hmm.
when this happened, it just made it easy. Poof, everybody goes home with their desktop, with their laptops. And so that made it great. So that idea of being remote was good. And the thing is, you don't know where good ideas come from because they come in the weirdest places, showers, they come walking a dog, they come from all kinds of places. And, how many times I'll just call you on the phone or send you a Teams message or send 3 people a Teams message like, oh my God, I have this great idea. They're not always great, but I still send it. So we can still be connected. We can still do it. There shouldn't be a forced thing. I think it's ridiculous to say that everybody has to be in the office. I think it's ridiculous that says everybody has to be remote. I feel that it's good to have a blend so that people can decide and work in the right pace and rhythm regardless of COVID or not.
Yeah, and I think that is something that's really important right now, is just that increased flexibility.
Yep.
I know where good ideas come from. Good ideas come from talking to you at like 6:30 on a Friday afternoon and going, I'm struggling with this. And then you
Oh,
spend all weekend obsessing about it and come back with a solution on Monday.
that's just evil, man. Like you just can't. You guys have learned. You can't tell people these evil tricks of getting problems in their head,
Your problem
especially
solved.
after the company happy hour. That's just wrong.
All right. Well, I'm not seeing any questions come in. Thank you very much, Conrad. I think this was very insightful. Oh, just got a question pop up.
Are
Always
they?
right.
Is a question, how's Conrad doing in his Sea of Thieves work on Xbox One? Not very well. I've only played it a few times, but is
No,
that it?
this one is, do you find yourself using the automation tool like Cortana? Um,
I have used it. Sometimes it gets challenging. My schedule has just gotten more and more stacked, and so I use it still at time. When I use Cortana, the email service that helps set up meetings for people with people. So that's been nice. I've used that quite a bit. Not as much lately, but yeah, I like using all those tools.
yeah, I mean, there's also Power Automate that you've been doing a lot with.
Oh, that's gonna be fun stuff to show off soon.
Yep, but those personal assistants, I've automated my shop. I haven't brought it so much into the house yet. Um,
Hmm.
but unfortunately, they do not have a handy little puck I can throw on a desk with Cortana in it yet.
Well,
Um,
you have your younger son. You can just give him the nickname of Cortana. Cortana, give me a beer, and I'm sure it'll work out.
I'm still
Automated.
waiting for the day that I can change Google or Alexa's name to Spencer and just drive him absolutely crazy. All right. Well, we're getting into the jokes now. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Just a reminder, if you want to sign up, you can sign up at agilit.co/CWC. All of these sessions are on YouTube. If you do have questions or comments, feel free to leave those down in the comments section. Give us a like and follow. Thanks for watching and have a great week. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.